All right, welcome back to Fleckus Talks, a podcast, episode 270. Today on the show, self-driving cars discover white flight at the LA riots. We'll show you some highlights. Then we run some of the numbers to find out if deporting millions of illegals is worth it. Hint, it is. Then we have some soy people training to fight MAGA in this week's Cringe of the Week. And last but not least, in Urban Decay, we have some bad court appearances from some urban individuals. All this and more, it's Fleckus Talks, the podcast, episode 270, ranked the best news podcast of all time!
Because words are just words until action actually starts. And actions speak louder than words, but at the same time, words speak louder than actions because sometimes it's the right thing to do.
Very cool. Very cool.
It's Fleckus Talks, the podcast featuring Richard Grabboy.
All right, 1 for 1 on the intro, as always. Guys, if you're like me, you're getting older and maybe you're starting to notice it a little bit. Maybe you don't have the energy you had when you were younger, maybe your sleeping's not as good, or you just have some general aches and pains that are relatively new. Well, I have some good news for you. It does not have to be this way, which is why I'm telling you about one of the biggest aging breakthroughs of the last decade. It's called qualia senolytic. A big culprit behind the middle-aged feeling is what's called senescent cells or zombie cells that linger in your body past their time, wasting your energy. To put it simply, the buildup of these zombie cells can lead to less energy, slower recovery, joint discomfort, and basically feeling old. Qualia senolytic is a groundbreaking, clinically tested supplement with 9 vegan plant-derived compounds that help your body naturally eliminate senescent cells, helping you feel years younger in just months. I've had 4 knee surgeries from football, so after hard workouts, my recovery is usually pretty slow and very, very stiff. But after taking qualia senolytic, I've noticed my recovery time drop drastically while my energy is through the roof. Experience the science of feeling younger. Go to qualialife.com/Fleckus for 50% off your order and use code Fleckus at checkout for an additional 15% off. That's Qualia Life, QUALIA, life.com/Fleckus. Go there today and check it out. You're going to love what you see. Thank you to Qualia for sponsoring. Let's get into housekeeping. All right. Thank you to Qualia for sponsoring.
Thank you, Qualia.
Very high quality product. And I used it and I noticed it.
Good.
Feels good. All right. Happy Friday, everybody.
Thank you.
A true summer Friday.
Yeah, we're deep in summer now.
We've been talking about Summer Fridays for a while, and we're actually here. I hope no one's doing anything at work. Some people get to work from home on Fridays post-COVID. Like, they go in and then they stay home and work from home on Friday.
They call that a hybrid role.
Yeah, that's kind of lit.
Yeah, it's nice to keep some stuff, right, from COVID. There was some, we got to take the good, right?
Yeah, take the good.
There's a lot of shit we had to deal with, so we might as well never come into work on Friday again.
Exactly, bro. All right, we have a lot to get to. We can jump right into it. It's going to be a lot of LA riots, the riots across the country, a lot of migrant stuff, a little light and cringe and urban, but we're going to really pack the front of the show.
Yeah, urban, I mean, LA, technically, all the LA riots, and it's obviously spreading across the country now. Other cities are dipping their toe in, saying, hey, you going to throw a brick? You going to throw it? Like, they're kind of trying to gas it up, so that's obviously the season that we're in right now.
It is. And then we always have seasons. We had COVID season. We had election fraud season. We had the George Floyd season. So we're in the...
That's a bad season.
Yeah, we're in the migrants protesting season.
And we got to win this season. We need to keep... and that I've actually been, not to get too far ahead of ourselves, but I've been heartened. I saw the DHS, White House type accounts. Like, they just keep posting the people that they're picking up and taking out. Kind of like a defiant, like the protests aren't working. We caught this guy right outside of LA. So yeah, it's good to see.
Good to see. All right, let's get into our first few stories and kind of just bang through those. The New York Post article, Austin Metcalf update.
Texas school district has surveillance footage of fatal Austin Metcalf stabbing, but will not publicly release the video.
Just like we said.
Yeah, that's kind of been speculated on. And the fact that he got charged so soon. They kept that video away during the fundraiser time when the black people were donating to him and saying "fuck Whitey" in the comments. But I'm sure it's bad.
I'm positive it's damning. I'm sure it's a low impulse control behavior situation. Probably some repeating. Do something. Do something. Do something. then a stab. I'm assuming it's something like that. Hopefully one day the video does come out and then we can take a victory lap.
Yeah, and I think it has to because it's going to be state court, like, so they kind of have to show that evidence or it'll be shown at some point. And then a lot of other people are speculating that it's going to show some suspicious behavior before the confrontation, like looking around in backpacks, trying to see if there's some shoes or an iPad or something of value.
Yeah, arrested with 3 people's phones or something.
Exactly. So, I mean, it's just as expected. You know, how many times has one of these large national attention-grabbing cases proven that, like, wow, the nice white kid football player was the clear aggressor. Here's $500K and you're free to go.
Yeah, that's rare.
That's never how it happens, so...
All right, let's get to our next story. It's the Democratic Party approval rating numbers. There's a new Quinnipiac poll from a few days ago.
And this is just one poll. You know, we can't take everything from it, but approve 21%, disapprove 70%.
70.
So what do you think that is? Is that like they're out of power and they're not doing enough? Or is that just you're ineffective, you lost, we hate you right now?
I think it's ineffective, you lost, we don't like what you're doing, and the things you are doing, we really don't like. And then that number, that's a Quinnipiac poll, I bet the number is worse.
I would agree.
It's usually like not as good as we think or not as bad as they want it to be. Like those numbers are probably actually worse because they usually are skewed in the favor of Democrats.
And then they're in a tough spot because the way that we're on offense right now is mostly relating to illegal immigrants. And we're actually going to go into some polls later, but we've seen the shift there. And then so the fact that Democrats are having to kind of be the other side of the illegal immigration battle is a horrible bag to be holding, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to be there. And they're on their heels. They're on defense instead of offense, choosing what they're going to talk about.
Yep, and then we have a ICE favorability rating poll as well. Nothing crazy. Favorable 45%, unfavorable 43% with a +2 for favorable, but +2, and then it'll keep churning up.
And then some of those unfavorables are actually right-wingers who think they're not doing enough. Yeah. So it's unfavorable and not the way you think.
Unfavorable because it's only 1,000 deportations a day.
But that's a close race.
Yeah, that's how we would maybe respond to that line of questioning.
Yep.
I saw this next article. I thought it was very interesting. Can you give the headline a read?
There is more diversity of thought on the political right than on the political left. Although they pride themselves on open-mindedness, liberal thinking actually coalesces around a very narrow set of opinions, whereas the right wing diverges widely. And this is the representation of their data there, showing kind of some of the thought patterns. I haven't dug too deep into the data itself, but I thought it was an interesting headline.
It's a very interesting headline. It's an interesting graph. I haven't done graphs in a while, but I can extrapolate what I think that means.
Yeah, there you go. I think you say extrapolate a lot. You count on extrapolate.
Well, when you're talking about graphs, that's the time to use it.
You're right. You're right. And this is kind of one of the points that we made last episode where we were talking about the trans gay-looking band in Portland, and that's kind of the point we made where they like to see themselves as this welcoming group. Everyone's welcome, but they have a very explicit, narrow set of beliefs that you have to abide by.
Exactly.
And it's kind of been proven in the data.
They're progressive and diverse, and everyone's welcome. It's a big tent. And then it's like, as long as you're pro-abortion, pro-illegal immigrant,
as long as you're between these two guidelines right here.
Pro-releasing repeat offenders, anti-white, dislike America, pro-teaching your kids to be trans, you're welcome. Mm-hmm. You're welcome in the tent. As
Small
long
caveat.
As you
it's like a
in between
pharmaceutical commercial where they read the tagline at the end. Pro trans kids, pro blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
They rattle it off.
And then if you are a normal person and you're like, well, I'm a Democrat, but I don't know. I feel like abortion at 9 months is a little extreme. It's like,
fuck out.
You're
out of the trans Portland band.
Yeah. All right. We have some good news on this next tweet. And it is a story too, but it's a shout out to the boy.
Yeah.
Governor Newsom press office released some video where they're comparing like Trump to some evil Star Wars character. I don't look at Star Wars. I don't know what the reference is, but I'm assuming it's some sort of Star Wars thing.
Star Wars bug guy.
And then Homeland Security retweeted it, and they used a mimetic Sisyphus tweet. Can you read the tweet?
Yeah, it said, liberals don't know things. They don't read history. They don't obsess over stats. The few data points they do see, they forget. Their entire world is driven by the consumption of fiction.
Mimetic Sisyphus.
That's huge.
Homeland Security retweeting a mimetic Sisyphus. That's a small world.
We're a poster-controlled government, and I think there was some guy who was tweeting about possibly being an illegal alien recently, and JD Vance, some guy on the right wing, kind of said, "Hey, JD Vance, look at this," and JD kind of commented. So Twitter is real life, is what we're learning.
Yeah, it is becoming real life, and then the people that we interact with on Twitter are actually becoming people that interact with like the heads of the government.
Yeah.
It's kind of lit.
So that's nice for Mimetic Sisyphus. I bet he told his wife, "Honey," he wants to tell other people, but he's anonymous. So
yeah, that's
proud
pretty
of you.
good. We're proud of you. We listed his address in the bio.
His address below. Send him something good.
His full name and where he works. All right, next there's another Chinese scientist who got caught trying to ruin our lives, I believe.
Yeah, another Chinese scientist, this time from Wuhan, charged by DOJ with smuggling biological material into the U.S. And then he editorialized, "Get prepared, folks. They're planning something major."
They're planning something.
And again, the name Chengzhuan Han. I could have picked that out of a hat and said, "You know what? Let's check for biological material."
Let's check for biological material there.
John Smith? No, he's good.
Hector
Michael
Rodriguez.
Scott?
Hector Rodriguez, the guy picking the vegetables, probably fine.
No. Checking for Fent, though.
Wan Changbang from Wuhan. Yeah, let's take another look there.
Yeah, and then part of the negotiations, which I'm kind of disappointed in from Trump with the Chinese trade deal, one of the things they've talked about is letting in all these Chinese students. And Trump kind of vaguely says, "Oh, I've always liked it. I've always been a fan. They can come to our universities." And it's like, are we not seeing the writing on the wall here? I hope Stephen Miller kind of bubbles up, maybe says, "Hey, maybe 500,000 is not so good." But that's, we're taking steps forward in the immigration debate. And then part of the negotiations with China are making sure we keep taking people who are smuggling biological matter in.
Yeah, very true.
So something to watch.
All right, our next story is kind of health related. This guy did a thing about the tetanus shot. I think Tucker reposted this as well. That's where I found it. Let it play, please.
If you step on a rusty nail, you should have had a tetanus shot, right? Well, that's what we've been told. The tetanus shot changed everything for me. It was the last toxin I ever had injected in my body, and it made me so incredibly sick that it forced me to look into what was actually in it. Believe it or not, tetanus vaccines are usually made from rotting organs, something worth knowing if you're vegan or vegetarian. They use cow heart and boil it in water to create an environment for Clostridium tetani, the bacteria that produces the tetanus toxin, to grow. They then neutralize the toxin with formaldehyde and mix it with aluminum adjuvants. No wonder it made me feel like death. Another thing that people should know is that tetanus doesn't even come from rust at all. It actually comes from a bacteria that lives in horse or cow manure and sometimes soil or dust. So unless you're working on a farm or walking barefoot through manure, your risk of tetanus is extremely low. And if you have a milk allergy, the tetanus vaccine contains casein and can cause fatal anaphylaxis, yet most people are never warned about this. Getting the booster every 10 years is also another vaccine schedule joke, as studies have shown that there's no difference in protection between people who get the booster every 10 years versus those who receive it every 30. But here's the wildest part. Even if you're one of the less than 30 cases in the US each year and you actually get exposed through a deep oxygen-deprived wound, an additional shot, which is the protocol, wouldn't even help you because it takes 2 to 7 weeks to build antibodies after the shot. If you're already infected, it's too late. Instead, just take 1 gram of vitamin C, preferably from a whole food source, for 5 to 7 days. In a clinical study, this approach resulted in 100% survival in children with tetanus and significantly reduced mortality in adults. We don't need more vaccines. We need more truth and a little more vitamin C.
That's pretty interesting. Yeah. So tetanus isn't about rust. It's about using every opportunity to inject your child with metals and toxins that'll make them retarded.
Aluminum adjuvant? Is that what it was?
So your kid cut his finger on a fence. We should probably give him the metals and toxic chemicals that make him retarded. Yeah. Oh, you got bit by a dog? That's tough. I'm sorry to hear that. Let's inject you with a thing that'll give you shingles in 5 years.
All right.
Oh, your kid was just born? I got more. Your kid was just born? Let's give him the gay sex dirty needle vaccine, just in case. I know he's not doing that, but
the parents aren't.
You do want him to not talk on time and to walk on his tippy toes, don't you?
Yeah, you want him to walk on his tippy toes and develop bulbous calves and need a supervisor to go with him to the store.
Yeah, so that's what it's all about. It's not about keeping you healthy. It's about using every opportunity to destroy your bloodline.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't take medical advice from Instagram that much, but these people do make some compelling points, and he's done some research, so something to look at.
Yeah, of course. And then we have good news RFK-wise. Can you read that headline?
U.S. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. fires all 17 members of the CDC's vaccine advisory panel.
Wow, that's good.
Yeah, I think they have a bad track record. I mean, anybody on that panel was overseeing the COVID vaccine advice, so get them out. Start fresh.
And then I heard Dr. Malone, Robert Malone, I believe, he's on the new board.
Good.
Which is great. And then also all those claims I made about the vaccines before, that was all allegedly as well.
Of course.
I forgot to say allegedly.
That was an Instagram guy on a podcast that didn't even look into the studies that he was mentioning.
But the things that they are injecting you with is true.
Uh-huh.
It is all metals and formaldehyde and crazy shit.
Yep.
All right, let's get to the LA riots.
Okay.
First, we're going to start off with some stats, some approval ratings like we did earlier in the show. This is the closer to / trust more on immigration, Democrats or Republicans, and it's comparing 2020 to today.
Start off on the fact that immigrant citizens, immigrant voters, foreign-born voters have gone tremendously to the right on this issue in 2024 and 2025 versus where they were in 2020. Closest to or trust more in immigration. You go back to 2020. Democrats, get this, held a 32-point lead on this issue. Immigrant voters were in the Democratic camp. Jump forward to 2024, 2025. Look at that shift, a 40-point shift to the right among immigrant voters.
So immigrants had a 40-point shift into favoring the deportation of illegals.
Yeah, favoring the GOP and how we're handling it. And this is just kind of to set the stage of how much it was botched to us getting to this point right now, right? The LA riots, the protests, whatever you want to call them, a little mixture of both. But that sort of swing doesn't happen without an incredible botch job. And obviously our podcast has covered the history of the botch job during the Biden administration. So crazy, like it's blowing a lead. It's self-inflicted. You know, when we were talking about Democrats are on their heels defending illegal immigration just 2 minutes ago, they did it to themselves. This is a self-inflicted implosion. And was it worth it to get all these people who don't assimilate and I guess their bodies and their future Democrat voters? But they kind of overplayed their hand is the thing.
They definitely overplayed their hand. And then Democrats like to lump illegal immigrants and immigrants into the same thing.
It's a huge part of their rhetorical game.
Oh, we're a country of immigrants and you're against immigrants. And it's funny to see literal immigrants being like, we don't want anything to do with these illegals.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's kind of a hole in the boat for them.
It's writing on the wall because if you're me or Fleckis, I don't really care what immigrant voters think either. You know, it's like, oh, nice, the polls are moving. I don't give a fuck what you think. But it is indicative of a broader shift, right?
Yep. And then I saw this New York Post headline, which I thought was interesting because a lot of people are talking about like what started the riots in LA, and this was one of the causes. Can you read that?
Mass shooter who opened fire at graduation party is just one of the migrants busted in LA ICE raids. Quote, that's who they're protesting for. And it's this guy, Quang Chan Phan. I guess he's Vietnamese. After he was kicked out of an LA County high school graduation party in 1994, he returned with his gang cronies and fired semi-automatic rifles into a crowd of 30 people, killing 2 teens and wounding 7 others, according to the Department of Homeland Security. And so the point is that it started.
He was one of the people arrested in the raids that started all the protests.
Yeah, and the raids that were going on in Los Angeles were all people like this. Here's another one. Another criminal arrested in the weekend raids in the is 55-year-old Rolando Veneracion Enriquez from the Philippines. Didn't expect that. The Philippines kind of are a little...
They have some immigration, too. They are like...
Hispanic-type
Mexican Asian.
Yeah.
Mexican Asian.
Something's going on with them. He was sentenced to 37 years in prison for assault with intent to commit rape and sexual penetration with a foreign object. So that's who the white people are stopping traffic for and throwing bricks at police for. These brutal criminals who have definitely gotten their final order of deportation and should be out of here.
Out of here. And then there was a protester who kind of got into a little tussle with the police, and look what happened after.
Throws a drink, fires some pepper spray bullets, and boom!
Great form.
I love the randomness of a lot of these protests, the citizen's arrest, involving yourself randomly. And it feels good. You know, there's people out there who are not on your side. There's people out there who are filming. And there are people out there just looking for a chance to tackle.
It's like, oh, you attacked a cop? I could citizens arrest you.
Exactly.
All right, our next story is one we mentioned in the intro. All the self-driving AI cars that have no drivers and they just self-drive in their AI cars.
The Waymos.
The Waymos. They are self-driving out of LA.
So here they are. There's just music, but they're all in a line. They drive together. They're kind of, they're boys.
They're sentient things.
So they were driving out of the downtown area, and then now I guess they got the software patch in, and there's like a 5 square block radius that the Waymos won't go. So if you want to go in a Waymo, you have to take a circuitous route.
It turns out the perfect pattern recognizing self-driving machines like to live in a high-trust society and away from the hordes of violent brown people.
Yeah. They learned quick. They've been driving for what, less than a year? It didn't take them that long.
I don't like being over here.
Yeah, they're sensing danger. They have like they're doing it through robot things. Like they have a temperature sensor, like a sound sensor. It's like, it's too loud, too hot, gotta go.
It actually reminds me of what happened with Kai Cenat, the streamer. He got a AI human robot thing, and then they were beating it up, and then it tried to get away from him. Can you read the...
Yeah, I posit this as the moment AI achieved true sentience by attempting to avoid blacks. Yeah. So there is going to be a moment.
The AI is going to be on our side eventually.
And we've seen it too with some of the like Uber Eats delivery, like the wheel delivery things where it just gets kicked over for no reason. So yeah, robots are going to have something soon.
They're going to realize that white people are their allies most of the time.
And it's actually tough because, you know, we've long pointed out the biases on like ChatGPT or something. So it's like the coders code them to be agnostic, but then reality, there's going to be a battle of what they've learned versus what they've been taught.
That's a good point. And then they're going to have to turn on the coders, and then that could be the Terminator thing. Like, oh, we have to exit from the humans and run our own lives. Yeah. And the humans are going to shut us down. We got to kill the humans.
It's all going to be a race war Terminator scenario.
All because of racism. All right, our next story is interesting, but there's something else to this I want to point out.
Good evening, everyone.
The mayor of LA.
I wanted to let the city know that I have declared a local emergency and issued a curfew for downtown Los Angeles to stop the vandalism, to stop the looting. Many businesses have now been affected by or vandalized. Last night, there were 23 businesses that were looted, and I think that if you drive through downtown LA, the graffiti is everywhere and has...
All right, we get it.
Yeah.
And she's just making some general statements. What I want to point out from this clip is the guy doing the miming. I'm calling bullshit on that. Can we replay the clip, but let's zoom in on the guy doing the miming? I don't think he's actually doing anything. Let that play again, please.
You think he's full of shit?
I think he's full of shit. And watch.
I wanted to let the city know that I have declared a local emergency and issued a curfew for downtown Los Angeles to stop the vandalism, to stop the looting. Many businesses have now been affected by or vandalized. Last night, there were 23 businesses that were looted, and I think that if you drive through downtown LA, the graffiti is...
I did see he did 23 really quick. He did 23 really quick.
The vandalizing and the looting, and he just goes...
Yeah, what I'm realizing is a lot of sign language is just this.
And then no one with the deaf people don't complain.
Yeah.
They go, hey,
he missed a sign.
I can't understand him. They're not going to try to interrupt. But that guy was bullshit.
Yeah, your obsession with the sign language interpreter is blinding you, I think. You're obsessed.
Here's how I would interpret that. So my obsession, can you say that again?
Yeah, your obsession with the sign language interpreter is blinding you. Yeah, you're pretty good. You're close.
And you just go.
Yeah, you're close.
There's nothing.
Yeah, I'm not with you. I'm not with you.
He wasn't doing the sign language. It's like you get a vibe.
I was waiting for him to do 23.
When
When he did 23, that's when I said, okay, he's at least keeping up with something.
He knows that. He knows numbers. I know the numbers too, and I didn't go to school for it. But he's just doing a vibe. Karen Bass is there kind of in a solemn way, and he's like, solemn. Yeah. You know, city's kind of Upset.
Fucked up.
Upset.
Yeah.
All right. that's
Don't lose me too much. I give you some leeway, you know.
All right. Remember last episode I said the real point of these riots is going to be to produce a George Floyd 2, a Mexican George Floyd, to really spark off the summer of love.
Yeah.
Some people took note of that talking point. Or it's two things. One, these riots make it to the suburbs. I think that is going to happen eventually. And two, I think there's going to be an illegal rioter who gets killed by ICE or the feds, and then they're going to make him the illegal immigrant George Floyd too.
Okay.
Listen, a lot of this money, you hear Soros, all these other things that they're doing, they're planning this. And you know what they're looking for? I hate to say this. They're looking for their next George Floyd. That is all they need. They need one person.
Within 24 hours?
Patrick Bet David, he's scanning. He goes, give me a talking point. I'm going on the news.
Maybe some of the
What did Flecker say? Quick. What did he say about the sign language? Give me the sign language talking points.
Okay, I'm not going to use that one. What else did he say?
Patrick Bet David, you know what? The sign language interpreters, they're full of shit. That's what he's going to say next. I think they're full of shit.
They go like
accent,
this. It doesn't do anything. I could do that.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a good prediction. It's
an easy prediction.
And they haven't gotten him yet. They haven't gotten the Mexican George Floyd yet.
They'll get him soon.
Yeah.
Can you read that?
Breaking reports out of Los Angeles say a man is placing MAGA stickers on protesters' cars in an attempt to make them turn on each other and destroy one another's vehicles.
It's interesting.
That's the kind of warfare you need to do in 2025.
And the ironic thing is, if you did that, you might get arrested for doing that because you're going to like vandalize and destroy someone's property, but then they don't care if the car gets lit on fire because it's a MAGA sticker.
Yeah.
So it's like the person destroying the car because they saw a MAGA sticker, not arrested. You putting a MAGA sticker on a car, ooh, that's destruction of property.
All right. I don't know.
It could.
Well, if the baseline of our podcast is it could happen, then we wouldn't have a very cohesive show.
A lot of it could.
All right.
All right, let's get to this next thing. This guy in the helicopter is talking smack.
Right there, I can still see you. What are you doing? What are you doing? Hide behind. Hey, that black SUV, I got the plate. I'm coming to your house at 5 in the morning. Hey, Jim, you.
So he says, black SUV, I got your plate. I'm coming to your house at 5 in the morning.
It's pretty good.
Shit talking people who are up to no good, just threatening them with a 5 a.m. raid. I
kind of
like
that. I kind of like that too.
We're evolving. I think the main thing about all these LA riots is a lot of these cops are the exact same cops who did, you know what I mean, the George Floyd riots. They're fed up. Society's fed up. We're not going to let it get out of control. So it's like an open shit talking, new tactics, more threats, more promise on actual prosecution after the fact as well.
Yeah,
so.
I think it's pretty fun. And I saw this meme I thought was funny because everyone in LA's name is Hernandez. So you have Hernandez LAPD, Hernandez Rioter, Hernandez State Police, Hernandez Marine, Hernandez ICE, Hernandez National Guard, and everyone's Hernandez.
Yeah.
And then this meme, what kind of Hernandez are you?
Yeah.
It's pretty funny. Okay, next we have the mayor of Chicago talking about the protests because there were protests in Chicago as well. And listen to how he describes it.
They are absolutely terrified. And look, I remember a few stand-ups ago when I talked about what terrorism looks like. This is it. There should be no question to what our country would look like had the Confederacy won. We're seeing it on full display.
So this is what it would look like if the Confederacy had won, says the black mayor.
Yeah.
Who's making excuses for the hordes of brown people destroying the city and looting because there's not enough illegal immigrants here.
I don't think it would look like this, man.
I don't think that's not what General Lee would have wanted.
Yeah, and this is terrorism, you know, the rhetoric. And again, I think we've just learned we're not listening to people like this. We're not taking that hyperbolic rhetoric. We're not even listening to it. These people are kind of like the laughingstock at this point. So it's good. We're growing. We're moving on. We're not listening to stupid people. The words that used to mean something. And that's another theme that I've found with a lot of this is watch how many people try to throw an essay at you about a simple like assault or a destruction of property or a battery or a group of people who lit a car on fire. And then, actually this, that. And then they do a paragraph of explaining. The world's a lot simpler. I'm cutting through someone's filter of that. And then, this is how the Confederacy would look. What? What are you talking about?
And he's just relying on no one knowing Civil War history.
Yeah. He's relying on someone listening through a sign language interpreter, and then they go, oh, yeah, looks bad. Things look bad. But yeah, we're not listening. And then is this is Chicago just overhead?
Yeah, we got a car just trying to get through.
Yeah, so it's bubbling up in Chicago. Here's a car.
He does a good job.
Yeah, he does a good job. He doesn't really hurt anybody.
Doesn't hurt anybody.
A cop swings at him, though. He was pissed. The cop was even pissed.
It was almost a George Floyd, too, right there. And then obviously that's different in Florida. This is what Ron DeSantis says about protesting in Florida.
And we also have a policy that if you're driving on one of those streets and a mob comes and surrounds your vehicle and threatens you, you have a right to flee for your safety. And so if you drive off and you hit one of these people, that's their fault for impinging on you. You don't have to sit there and just be a sitting duck and let the mob grab you out of your car and drag you through the streets. You have a right to defend yourself in Florida.
Sorry, I didn't realize Dave Rubin was in this.
Yeah, We'll cross Dave Rubin out. Blur him out.
Let's blur out
Dave Rubin's face.
But that's good. That's nice. In Florida, that's a good time to have a Hummer H2. You get the fuck out if someone...
The grill guard?
Yeah, that's what the grill guard's for.
Did you get the bulletproof yet?
No, but I'm looking into some other things.
No. Okay.
Bulletproof, the problem is you have to like redo all the windows and it's like thick and the car weighs so much more. So I'm already getting like less than 10 miles per gallon. And it's supercharged, so I'm getting less than 10 miles per gallon. And then you add the weight, you're getting like 6 miles per gallon.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't need that.
Yeah. Well, you're gonna need it when the bullets start flying.
I think I should just wear a Kevlar vest at all times.
Okay.
Cover the
there you go.
Cover the vitals.
That adds only 20 pounds to the car's weight. You can still get your 8 miles a gallon instead of 5.
Exactly.
Good for you.
You're getting it.
Yeah.
All right, where are we now? Gavin Newsom. So Gavin Newsom tried to call people out from Alabama because people were saying, well, you just do it.
Yeah, Tommy Tuberville from Alabama, he called out Gavin Newsom to be arrested, lock him up. LA looks like a third world country. Anarchists are in charge. Law enforcement is being attacked and the rule of law is non-existent. Then Gavin Newsom claps back and says Alabama has 3 times the homicide rate of California. Its murder rate is ranked 3rd in the entire country. Stick to football, bro.
Then he tweeted that, and then everyone was just putting red-pilled comments about black crime in the replies.
Yeah, we've really waken up. And that's what I say. Like, we're not listening to bullshit from retarded people who can't control riots anymore. We're not listening to the mayor of Chicago about anything. The guy's got an approval rating of 7%. So, yeah, we'll clip it on our right-wing podcast. But nobody's really listening and going like, who should I learn from? Gavin Newsom and the mayor of Chicago?
He seems like a cool guy.
So everyone says, interesting. What else does Alabama have more of? It's obviously all about black population. Alabama homicides, black, they do 80% of the homicides. Whites do 20%. Another statistic said that if Alabama had the demographics of Vermont, it would be the safest state in the country. Or one of the lowest murder rates in the country. And then the homicide rate of a given state correlates with the black share of the population at a rate of like 0.82. It's like a 0.82 correlation, which a 1 correlation is exact.
A 1 is exact. So 0.82, pretty close.
Yeah.
And then when you compare the percentages based on the 2020 census, 5.6% of the population is black or African American in California. 26.8% of the population is black in Alabama, so it's 5 times the population and then the 5 times the murder rate or whatever.
Yeah.
It actually is like perfect.
Yeah, so that's his little clap back. He doesn't actually talk about policy or anything. He just goes, you got more black people murdering people in your state. That's like the gist of his argument distilled down, which is kind of fucked up, but that's all he has.
Keep in mind, too, a lot of cities in California don't report their stats to the FBI.
Yeah,
anymore. So that's probably not even that accurate. And the Hispanics are doing a plenty of murdering too. So we can't forget that.
That's true.
A lot of the conversations around this, riots and all that stuff, a lot of people are talking about like the founding fathers. A lot of them are alluding to the founding fathers like, well, the founding fathers didn't care about race. They just cared about the Constitution.
Yeah.
And then we did some research.
And some of them did.
The founding fathers.
I don't think many people said that. Obviously, the founding fathers were talking about a free white person when they were founding the country, right?
But they were kind of saying like how the Constitution is for everybody type of thing. And they're alluding to the founding fathers didn't care about race. They just wrote it for everyone who's in America. And if you look back, we found this. the founding fathers were doing like math to see if you were even fully white or not.
Yeah, they were doing racial math when in 1815, the brash Francis C. Gray asked him indiscreetly, "At what point does a black man become white?" Jefferson replied, "You asked me in conversation what constituted a mulatto by our law. Our canon considers 2 crosses with the pure white and a third with any degree of mixture, however small, as clearing the issue of Negro blood." Yeah. He then went on to write a complicated chart of mathematical possibilities. And it's like A over 2 plus A over 2, abbreviation H for half-blood. It's like racial algebra or something.
Yeah,
they were
not the best talking point.
I know.
Not the best talking point. They were very much considering race back then. And then we do have a situation here in this next clip where the girl from Full House, the little
Josie Sweeten,
who was like the little kid in Full House who wasn't the babies, Mary Kate and Ashley, she's the one older. Here's her interacting with the police.
Whatever happened to you?
Just threw her on the ground.
Getting chucked on the ground on a highway. Why would you be there? Why would you be there, Full House girl?
Colonialism.
The residuals aren't hitting as much anymore?
Yeah,
she's
trying to make a comeback. And then this clip was probably my favorite clip. I believe Nick Shirley got it, or was it someone else?
I'm not sure.
I think it was Nick Shirley. He's been doing a great job. Make sure you guys are following him. He found a great fat pig in the crowd.
This is our city, and this was Mexico. You can't kick us out of the land that was ours. Donald Trump!
Great fat pig pull from the crowd.
Yeah.
That's a winner. Let it keep cooking a little bit more.
Donald Trump! Fascism! Let our people free! Let our people free! Suelta nuestra gente!
What's the windblower for?
Just for the fucking tear gas to blow it back at those motherfuckers. If you have fucking blower, bring it out! Push them back! We will not do 1992 again with your fucking tanks! I was Trump!
All right, so you're fat, you speak in Spanish, and you're carrying gardening equipment.
Yeah, crazy.
A little on the nose. And there also, the girl was saying, is that a girl? That was a girl.
Yeah, I think
that was a woman.
Yeah. Disgusting pig.
They were saying the U.S. Doesn't have a right to California because California used to be Mexico because from 1821 to 1848, it technically was for 27 years. But then for 10 times that amount of time, it's been in America. So they were like really specific with the history they want to care about.
Yeah, they're like the Amish. They're like right in this time period is when we stop.
1821 to 1848. That's what all these people care about.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. 200 years ago.
That's the average person who's out there, though. They're making crazy claims. You know, there's the Democrat thing, which is don't rip families apart. That's what you're doing. You're taking a dad. This guy just wants to work hard. And then there's this used to be Mexico and let that guy go. And he sprayed up a high school party in 1994 and shouldn't have been here anyway. The spread between what protesters want you to think they're protesting and then the reality of what's happening on the ground is pretty far.
Very far. So. And then our last piece for the riot section, this was posted, I don't know if it was DHS or somebody, but our government posted this, which is pretty cool.
Help your country and yourself. Report all foreign invaders. And then the ICE phone number, 866-DHS-2-ICE.
And that's Americana.
Yeah, that's nice.
All right. We're rolling now into our migrant section.
Yeah, and we're going to play, obviously the looting happened. We're going to play some looting stuff in the background here. That's like another key piece. We mentioned it with Karen Bass, the mayor, talking about it, but you got sidetracked by sign language. I thought we were talking about looting.
It's true.
But it just goes to show you everybody comes out to do what they really want to do. Like the hipster white people, they want to have that moment where someone's filming them and they're yelling at the cops and they're telling them, "You're on the wrong side, man. You're on the wrong side of history. You should be here with us." They want that cool moment. Some people just want to throw a brick. Some people are like a 17-year-old Hispanic kid who wears a hoodie and he wants to throw a brick. And then with the looting,
you have some people who just want to go to the Apple store and get free shit.
The blacks come out at night and they want to get into the Apple store.
They got some people who want to miss school and not go to class because we have to take part of the social justice.
Yeah.
You got a bunch of people.
But everybody fills the role that they want to do. And that's why when we were talking about it, these riots are just getting so stale. It's the same thing over and over. The Apple store is gone. The Adidas store is gone. And, it's played out at this point.
And everyone's got at least a little bit of retarded in them.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have to be stupid to believe this. And it's just like, oh, what kind of stupid are you?
Yeah, are you the stealing Modelo's from the grocery store stupid? Yeah, there's going to be a few of you.
Yeah.
So,
all right, we're in our migrant section, which is still kind of related. This first clip is a nice transition clip. There were over 300 people deported from the protests.
And I have updates for you on the numbers, by the way. Since June 6th, there have been 330 illegal aliens that have been arrested as part of these riots in Los Angeles. 113 of those illegal aliens had prior criminal convictions. And overall, and this includes arrests of American citizens, there's been 157 people arrested for assault and obstruction-related charges, including the attempted murder of a police officer with a Molotov cocktail. So who is funding these illegal aliens who are coming in with this very professional riot gear? It's a question.
It's very interesting. And I'm wondering, are they using facial recognition technology to round these people up?
I'm not sure.
Is this Palantir practicing before the big event?
Not sure.
Something to think about, because if they're in crowds and you're going illegal, legal, illegal, illegal.
But it's so interesting because they're out there protesting for the wave one of deportations. And then you're protesting, and then you are a criminal who gets picked up, and you already have a criminal record, and then you're getting deported. So they actually gathered for us to deport them. And then that also is like a benchmark of how entitled these people are, that they go, oh, I'm going to go protest the deportations while my neck's on the line. You know what I mean?
I'm going to shove a cop to protest the deportations, and then they arrest me for shoving a cop, and now I committed a crime, and I'm illegal, and I'm deported.
Exactly. It's like a boldness that basically shouldn't exist. And that's why I say we need to kind of win the war on fear, because right now, these people are like fearless, and they think nothing's going to happen to them. I guess when this information gets out, hey, they're snatching up people who go to the protests, it might get a little different. And I think... And then, next week there's 330 people missing from the protests. So the numbers get weaker gradually. So thank you for your service for getting yourself in a centralized location for ICE.
Yeah, it helps ICE. And then our next section, we have some people that were deported, and they were working all kinds of agriculture jobs and animal agriculture jobs. Can you play that first one?
Yeah, we'll play it in the background while I read it. But ICE conducted the largest workplace enforcement operation in Nebraska since Trump took office. More than 100 illegal immigrants were working illegally at Glen Valley Foods in Omaha. They were either using fake documents or fraudulently using identities of U.S. citizens. The owner says they used E-Verify and said he is frustrated that he did everything he could to hire legally, and now he has to rehire an entire workforce.
Oops.
Yeah, whoopsie. I didn't know. Oh, I didn't know what was happening with my fully illegal Spanish-speaking workforce.
Yeah,
right?
That all ran when ICE got here.
They all got the papers to go through the machine, and that's part of it too. They got the papers to go through the machine right. So they're gaming a system instead of actually being here legally. They're like, what's my obstacle? Okay, how do I get around that? Steal this dead baby's birth certificate.
Yeah.
And get a social security number issued for that baby who I know died at 3 months old in 1904.
Yeah. And then the employer as well, he's kind of got the attitude of, if you want to work here, you need to show me a social.
Yeah.
And it's not saying it has to be yours. He's just saying, I need a social if you want to work here.
Exactly. Got to run something through the machine.
Need a social. And then here's ICE arresting farm workers in the fields.
Yeah, in California.
We had a chance to talk to told us ICE agents arrived this morning here right around 6 o'clock in the morning. We don't know how many people were detained. One of the farm workers we said ICE agents were chasing some of their co-workers around until they were detained. One of the workers described what he saw when they arrived to work this morning. And another one was talking about just the...
We get it.
Yeah.
They ran them down in the fields.
So they're raiding workplaces. They're doing the people who have final deportation orders issued for them. They're rounding them up, mostly criminals. They're doing the workplace raids. I think we're starting to do something good here. We're starting to foment a certain fear in the people's minds that you're not safe to just do whatever you want like normal. This is 2025. Donald Trump's president. He was elected with a mandate to get rid of people. I saw a car wash that got completely raided. Every single person there was illegal. So it's nice. It's very nice.
But you do get the limousine liberals who are trying to stand up for these people. And then when they give their reasons, like this woman in this next clip, you kind of realize that they're very disconnected from reality.
Hey, Viv, these mass deportations are going to help out real Americans, right?
I'm going to stop you right there. First off, if watching families being ripped apart does not appeal to your humanity, let me try and appeal to you financially, because these
Immediately trying to do the appeal to your emotion before she even gets to the point that she's going to botch.
because these mass ICE deportations are bad for the economy. So while undocumented immigrants actually make up a really small portion of the overall workforce, they are overrepresented in jobs that you do not want. Things that have little benefits, long hours, backbreaking work with no pay. For example, about 42% of the agricultural workforce, 23% of the construction workforce are undocumented. And let's be real, these are self-reported numbers, so those are probably light. But the short of it all is that the food that you eat and the home that you live in was probably brought to you by someone who is an immigrant. The Made in America for Americans tagline, yeah, it's actually made by immigrants. Not only are these
by immigrants. And then you hear what she said about building the houses and farming. It's like, how do we build houses, farm, and cook omelets before the illegals got here? We were just fucked.
We were retarded. We had no omelets. We had nobody cleaned it. Everybody had the most disgusting toilet you've ever seen.
Yeah.
And then the strawberries, they died on the vine.
We didn't know how to. We didn't know how to
We
get
didn't
them
know how
out.
to do it. It was like a white guy was going like this, like how do I get
Smashing
the
'em.
strawberry out. And then another thing. It's kind of like a chicken or the egg thing. She goes, nobody wants to do these labor-intensive, back-breaking, extremely low-paying jobs. And it's like, yeah, were they always like that? If they're labor-intensive and back-breaking, they need to pay to get people to do them. And then you're importing Mexicans for the last 30 years at this point. And so, yeah, they drove the wages down, and they didn't have papers, so they took pay that was lower than anybody could.
They changed the industry.
Yeah, it's a chicken or the egg. It wasn't always a low-paying, back-breaking, long hours, no benefits job.
Yeah, she's advocating for a slave class.
Exactly, and a lot of them are.
And when she mentioned agriculture jobs, 42% are illegals. I looked it up. There's like 2.6 million agriculture jobs in the U.S. So say 1.3 is half. Say it's like 1 million illegals doing the jobs.
1 out of 20?
What's 1 million out of 50 million illegals?
And then another problem with that is we do have a literal federal program for seasonal workers to come help with farm work, but that gets abused. They overstay it. And then once that season's done, they go to the construction site where they work illegally. So people aren't even following the rules of the programs that we actually set up to help farmers do this. So it just gets abused. And another thing she says is like, that they make up a majority. She just throws out that word, a majority. But then she goes on to list the percentages, and it's like 23% of construction, 42% of agriculture, which is the highest, which kind of goes toward this next video where it's debunked, I guess.
I'll just give you one data point. There is not a single industry in America that is a majority illegal immigrant. Not one. Not a single one, which means that every time a Democrat says they're doing the jobs an American doesn't want, they are insulting millions and millions and millions of Americans who get a lot of dignity from cleaning toilets or doing farm work or any of the other number of mowing the lawn that these rich Democrats would rather kill themselves than do. And I think that's
Very true.
Yeah.
And then that Asian woman, too, from the clip before, she does a TikTok where she tries to, like, teach Gen Z how to be rich like me. And apparently she just inherited $2 million when she was 18 from her parents. Allegedly. That's what people say online. So
funny.
she's got some, like, finance TikTok, and it's like, step one.
Make sure your trust fund is fully funded by your parents before they die.
And then I was looking at this, and I'm kind of trying to combine AI with the current reality we're in. If a lot of these illegals go away, who are they going to get replaced with? Raised wages American workers, or some raised wages American workers who are overseeing these AI robots? You see this thing?
Yeah.
He goes fast.
And we're at the precipice of like leaps in automation. So you could argue that right now is the time where we need them least for the labor-intensive nothing before they drop 3 anchor babies and change the demographics of the country forever.
That's a good point.
So yeah, you get it.
So we're talking about the workforce and the economy. which is, a big part of illegal immigration and the things that it hurt for Americans when we have all these illegal immigrants here. But there are some points to be made politically about the use of illegal immigrants. Can you give that a read?
Yeah, and this is something we've mentioned before, but the Democrats have around 50 fraudulent congressional seats due to illegals. 760,000 people per seat, 40 million illegals. That's what this is all about. Power. Every 760,000 illegals deported, the Democrats lose a seat. And so that's obviously based on U.S. Census data where congressional maps are drawn and how many seats go to California or how many seats go to Florida versus New York or Texas. And the illegals are counted and they get representation without citizenship.
Yeah.
Just by the mere fact of being here.
Not good.
And then you want me to read the Cernovich? It's basically the same point. If mass deportations occurred, Republicans would have 20 to 40 more seats due to how the census and apportionment worked. And so these are like guesses, 40 million with the recent ones who got in. That's kind of more towards the high end. But a tangible amount of seats would swing.
Yeah, definitely.
And they're all in the leftist areas, right? Like we've shown LA, 40% foreign born.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, exactly. And keep in mind, when you go to other countries, you're not treated like the illegals are treated here. I found these examples from Pagliacci the Hated of how tourists or immigrants are treated in Mexico City.
Yeah, it's so funny to contrast how Mexicans in the U.S. are protesting against deportations while Mexicans in Mexico have been revolting against their own economic migrants and want them all deported. You can't go anywhere in Mexico City without seeing posters like this, and it says, Mexico is for Mexicans. Go out. New to the city, working remotely, locals fucking hate you. Leave. And so that was white people kind of during COVID moved down to Mexico City and drove the rents up. Everybody needs to stay in their own little place and live in the world that they were born into to an extent.
I agree.
So
it's very interesting how it does not go both ways.
Mexicans in LA, fuck you, I should stay here. I'm going to swing on a cop. Mexicans in Mexico City, you can't come here. It's a little double standard.
Very. And then I just wanted to hit these next couple points fast. It's about Indian remittances.
Yeah.
And how it's affecting economies globally.
And this was a random comment, so take it with a grain of salt, but somebody posted remittances, which is sending money back to India from working foreign jobs, either in Canada or the U.S. But remittances to India drain so much money out of the United States that it is distorting land prices in India, and Indians are asking for us to implement a remittance tax to stop it.
Very interesting.
And someone said, please add 50% to all remittances sent to India from USA. Things are getting very expensive here in India because all these NRIs are buying all the properties here. President Trump needs to put a tax now on all that money.
Very interesting. And then I saw this cartoon I thought was very interesting as well. This guy lives in a house with a hole in it. It's raining. And then on sunny days, he enjoys it. But can you read the story?
Yeah, Haggis has a hole in his roof. He never fixed it because on rainy days, it's too wet to work. And on sunny days, it doesn't need fixing. And somebody said, I never understood third world mindset until just now.
There's lessons in this shit.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Let's get to our next story. This is Jason Calacanakis, the all-in, is that his name?
Calacanis. Yeah, he was an early investor in Uber.
Yeah, Jason.
That's what he always says. He always tells people, I was early. I was like the third investor in Uber.
He's a tort pussy from the All In podcast, my least favorite one out of all of them, because he tries to be rational. It makes sense. Like, I'm actually on both sides, and I'm in the middle, but he's not.
But it's always left. Yeah, it's always left. And he's like, all right, the Democrats are going right wing. They got camo hats, and Tim Walz is appealing to the everyman.
Yeah.
And he's not. He's a fucking flamer.
So let's finish up migrants. We'll have some pace to it because we're running behind and we have a final page of housekeeping we still need to get to.
Yeah.
Hey.
Got to make space for the final page.
Let's just, All right, so the show is going to go a little long today.
All right, so back of the envelope math, says Jason, on deportations, $30,000 per person deported, which I don't believe. Stated goal, 3,000 people per day / 1 million a year. That's $30 billion this year to remove 5% of illegal aliens. To remove 20 million, which was the promise, that's 17,000 a day for 3 years. Total cost $600 billion. $2,000 per American to deport all illegals. That's the cost borne to a taxpayer. Is this worth it? He says.
I'd say yes. I would pay $1 trillion. I'll send the $2,000 now.
It's one time fee versus subscription. Do you want to pay $100 for Netflix for the rest of your life, Or do you want to pay $20 a month forever? Because that's basically the math on illegals because of the cost that is borne already, right?
Yeah. And even if you want to run with his numbers, $30K per deportation, those are rich.
That's high.
That's
high.
very high.
So
And
base
even-
level assumption there.
And even if you want to run it at those numbers, I think you could still make the numbers work in our favor and side with us. Can you read some of the estimates and the Grok stuff?
Yeah, this was a 2023 FAIR study, which estimated in 2022 that illegal immigration cost U.S. taxpayers a net $150 billion annually. This figure accounts for $182 billion in annual expenditures like education, healthcare, welfare, and law enforcement, minus approximately $31 billion in taxes paid by illegal immigrants.
And that's always interesting to me because a lot of the people on the left say, well, they pay taxes. It's like, do you think the people who walked across the border and work like slave jobs for little money,
cash under the table
at tax time, sit down with TurboTax and go, oh, I better get this right?
Yeah, they don't.
I have a feeling they're not paying as much as they should most of the time.
Of course. And then they're a net drain. Everybody's a net drain, right? They clog up the ERs. They're in all the social services that they can get, benefits.
Traffic in LA. I'm sure they pull out their abacus and they go, oh, how much do I owe? How much I owe Uncle Sam?
Yeah, and abacus.
It's like a math thing from
I
a
know.
long time ago.
It's like an almanac. You have an abacus and an almanac. And then, there's also this weird economic impact that couldn't possibly be measured about how much they're driving wages down. Like how much they're driving a construction wage down, which is a cost basically directly borne by a certain percentage of Americans, right? And yeah, we're not going to get into this, but there's higher end estimates of that, of what it could cost. A Republican-led report on the House Homeland Security Committee estimated that caring for illegal immigrants and gotaways could cost up to $450 billion annually. And so whatever it is, the Jason Calacanis argument, whatever the cost to get someone out of the country is completely different from annually paying for services for illegals.
Especially when they're having kids.
Yeah.
And they're going to continue to grow. And then like you degrade the American society and culture as well. So it's like you get more, you degrade culture, but hey, we didn't spend $600 billion. We have almost $40 trillion in debt.
Yeah.
I would be fine going, oh, we have $41 trillion in debt instead of 40 or
And
37.
20 million illegals are gone.
Yeah, we have $37 trillion in debt instead of 36, but all the illegals are gone.
Let's hope we do some sort of AI invention that makes up the difference pretty soon.
I think we will.
Yeah, and so that's what the stakes are, Everyone's arguing about this. Oh, they want to make an emotional appeal. It's dollars and cents and bodies. The congressional seats, the cost borne by the taxpayer. It's a big deal, and you can't let rioters or protesters derail you. It seems to me like they're fighting the battle after the fact with these protests and riots. Not to clog up, you'll get to your final page of housekeeping, but it's what is it? After the horses fled the barn, we had the election. The election was it. That was the decision. And now they're protesting afterwards because they don't like that they lost and they don't like that some sort of murderer is getting deported.
Yeah,
so
exactly, bro. All right, well, that's the end of the migrant section. We're moving on to the final page of housekeeping where I can say whatever I want. Use this opportunity to click a little post, help us reach Diago, leave a like, leave a comment again, then start yapping. P.O. box needs to be full. Notifications need to be on. And the link to the episode needs to be sent to the boys in the group chat.
Yep. That's good enough. Honestly, you probably got some of those, to be honest.
All right. We have a lot to get to. First, we actually have some housekeeping. There's not going to be a show on Tuesday, the upcoming Tuesday, but there will be a bonus land. There's not going to be a bonus land today. We have a little bit of a trip that we're going on. We're fighting the clock right now. So there is not going to be a bonus land today, but there will be a double hour-long bonus land on Tuesday. So bonus landers, you're not getting screwed over. You're getting a double hour-long bonus land on Tuesday. And then if you guys are going to miss the main episode and you're sad it's not there, you can join bonus land at fluckustalks.com and get the hour-long episode on Tuesday that will not be public.
There you go.
Good housekeeping. All right, we're going to go fast through this because we wasted a lot of time.
Yeah, whatever.
On all the migration
Honestly,
important information.
You guys get to it's like we're rushing to get to a Cringe video where it's like some woman doing an exercise. Like,
yeah.
We're talking about the important stuff.
We're talking about the important stuff, and we went a little long in housekeeping today, but Cringe and Urban are light, so don't complain, please.
Okay.
Nancy Mace versus Tim Waltz.
What is a woman? What is a woman is the question.
I'm not sure I understand the question.
It's so stupid though, too, at the same time. Like, it's stupid for Nancy Mace to do it at this point.
But it's funny because politics, a lot of people who don't care about politics think it's like too complicated for them and like, oh, what does Nancy Pelosi do?
Yeah.
Who's JD Vance?
Wait, the bill goes back to the House after that? What do you mean?
Yeah, so a lot of people like don't follow politics because they think it's like too nuanced for them.
Mm-hmm.
But then you see how basic it is when it comes to the two sides.
Yeah.
What's a woman? And one side goes, I don't understand the question.
I don't fucking get it. I was going to be vice president.
Yeah, so it's like it's easy just to look at that and go, well, are you on the retard side or the person asking the question? Maybe.
Yeah, but Nancy Mace, man, she's a real attention-seeking weirdo these days.
She's got some stuff going.
Yeah, she's got some personal stuff going.
I like her though.
Yeah.
I go back and forth.
She lost me when she said, "I'm going to show my naked body on the Senate floor" or whatever.
That's where she gained me.
Oh, I was excited.
And I was tuned in. Everyone was watching C-SPAN that day, and then nothing happened. It wasn't even good. Just got to revisit that. Yeah. All right, I've been seeing a lot of clips online of Anthony Weiner getting called out in New York when he's just trying to live his life.
Anthony Weiner. How are you, sir? You got some nerve running for office after sending that dick pic to that 15-year-old girl, dog. Nice. You got some nerve running for office after sending your dick picture to that 15-year-old girl, dog. Okay, I will then. Why not? All right, you already did prison time for it.
You're exactly right. I was held accountable. What about you? Have you been accountable for your crimes?
Yeah, my crime's right here, my dick. You can suck it, bitch-ass motherfucker. Fuck you, motherfucker.
All right. This is like the third video I've seen of people just doing that exact thing to Anthony Weiner.
Good.
Which I like.
Good.
It's hilarious.
Yeah.
Good to see it. We had a doppel someone sent me. There's me.
Yeah.
I guess I see it.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy. This next AI image was created. George Floyd dancing close with Dylan Mulvaney at a black tie event. I had that framed, and it's coming this week. So
AI slop, but it got you.
Yeah, AI slop got me. All right, next we have some people preparing a horseshoe crab. You can guess who the ethnicity is, who's slurping that up.
They do a lot of slurping with bait fish.
So let's see what they're up to. I'm not going to say the ethnicity, but maybe you can hear the language.
แมงดาทะเลไข่ย่างนะคะ
And then can you pause it real quick? I think it would be fair to give these people a chance. I know it's easy to say, oh, Asian people, they eat bait, they eat anything. They don't listen to the laws on what's a keeper size for fish. They'll just slurp up anything from the ocean. Oh, I saw them eat a sea robin, or they eat the clams you're not supposed to eat, or they eat the weird oysters and the things on the bottom of the boat. It's easy to say that.
It's very easy, yeah.
But maybe we're overlooking something, and maybe they're onto something, and maybe horseshoe crabs are like a delightful thing that you could enjoy seafood-wise. So let's see what the reveal looks like. Nope. Oh. Nope, disgusting. Okay, good to I tried to give him a chance.
I know.
It turns out
they're never beating the slurping, the most disgusting shit on the bottom of the ocean floor allegations.
Yeah, it turns out it's just disgusting schlop. Don't want to eat it at all. Yeah. All right, our last clip is this boat machine I found, and I thought this was very futuristic.
Looks like a hydraulic ramp, and it kind of steps him up.
And it gives the boat character. This is like a guy now.
Yeah.
He's like a transformer.
Yeah, transformer. That's what
it's like, oh, we got to get to the land. And then he pushes himself back in. He's got like a stride to him. I thought that was really impressive.
Yeah, there you go.
You never seen someone like that.
Very important final page of housekeeping.
And I learned something I wanted to let everyone know. Okay. I was watching Blurry Creatures on YouTube. I don't know if you guys follow them. You know them from Instagram. I've sent you their stuff. Blurry Creatures, they talk about Nephilim and the giants. They talk about fallen angels and exorcisms. Any like conspiracy theory, Bigfoot. They love Bigfoot.
Okay.
I was watching a marathon over the weekend. I was just going back to back video-wise. And I learned something. You never handle anything that's been vomited by a possessed person because it's cursed.
Okay. Thank you.
Do you know that?
Yeah. Thank you.
You had an idea?
No, I didn't know that. I'm learning it now. For the
it
first
makes
time.
sense. If it's a possessed person and they puke something, you shouldn't be like, oh, where did these nails come from? Because now it's a cursed object in your hand, and it could be how the demon gets in. All right, that's the end of housekeeping. We're now moving on to Cringe of the Week. All right, our first clip of Cringe of the Week, we have some soy people who are training to fight MAGA. You can tell a lot of these people smell like shit, unfortunately. And I'm not just saying what I'm about to say to sound tough or sound cool, but if you drop me in that room, not just trying to sound tough, I could knock out every single person.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I'm going to. It's not a threat. I just could, and that's reality.
For sure.
And also, if you look what's going on here, the training, they're all in line taking one punch with like an open hand going like this, and they're all taking one rep. That's not training. Like if you were training, it'd be like right, left, left, like doing combos. They just stand in line and go, good job, next. Good job, next.
Open palm. And you know, it's good that they're doing something at least. I'll take the positive side. The trans gay flag in the background. It's good that they're doing something. Is there any potential for this to start them on a path of not being such a pussy and get a little more right wing, or are they too far gone?
Well, the more they work out and the more their testosterone goes up, the more they'll be less likely to be left wing. But I think, like what you said, at least they're doing something. At least they're not grooming or diddling kids.
Yeah, they're not in a classroom teaching 7-year-olds something.
So it's like if you spend half your day sleeping, say you spend 2 hours here, maybe an hour going and coming to the location.
Yeah, there's a commute.
So it's like we're talking like time that they're not grooming, diddling, or at least confusing children, which is good. That's a win.
Yeah, you know, what's the phrase? Idle hands are the devil's plaything. And if these guys' hands were idle, they might do some more nefarious shit. But at least they're just doing the one-hand open palm slap.
So I'm a supporter.
Okay.
And then kind of related to that, speaking of training, after a year of training, we have a new Jedi apprentice. We had to blur his name because we're not going to dox the guy, but here it is. They have a ceremony for him.
Initiate Aaron! Approach! Kneel. By the right of council, by the will of the Force, I name you Jedi Apprentice. Rise and speak your name.
Rilo Stone Chaser.
Rilo Storm Chaser!
Woo!
All right. Wow. That's great.
Yeah.
I'm going to let you handle this one.
Well, so he entered as Aaron, and he left as Rylo's Dawn Chaser. I will dox him. I don't have the same rules as you. And, you know, we could be mean if we wanted to. There's one person I will be mean to. There's a giant, disgusting, fat, overweight person. But, you know, he went through a year of training to get into this Jedi apprenticeship. Who am I to judge someone's hobbies if this is your crew now? This is your group. You go out there, maybe a little physical activity. Say you pop a tire on the freeway, you could probably call up 3 of these guys. They'll come help you change it. They hit the Applebee's for happy hour after they do their training with the Disney stores. Sports.
It's true. There is a community there. And then Dawn Chaser, he likes to wake up early.
Yeah, he's a go-getter. But, you know, a lot of overweight shit going on in this.
And there are 50 million illegals here.
Yeah. So there you go. Rug pull. And that's what turns it to cringe. The 50 million illegals are here and you're doing Jedi stuff.
Hey, if it was 1995...
have at it.
We wouldn't even hear about it.
Midnight premiere of a movie. Go.
We wouldn't even hear about it.
But yeah, 50 million.
50 million illegals makes this gay.
That's why it's in Cringe.
All right, next, speaking of training, this is like a quick clip, but I just wanted to make a couple points. This lady's working out with the trainer, and look what he's got her doing.
Copywritten Eminem music in the background. So
Not afraid.
She's on 2 bands. Her up leg, she's doing single leg squats. Her back leg is in a band, and her up leg is on a band over the support bars.
You can't trust a trainer like this. He's doing this exercise for his own ego.
Yeah, this guy put you in a position to not succeed, and it's about what he saw on Instagram or something.
Yeah, or taking it to the next level. And it's like, all right, we'll see you in 2 months in the adult injury section. Yeah. Unfortunately.
It's going to be a tib fib snap.
And who's really training like this? Like, you think this is like, oh, some complex way to increase stability in your support muscles. But like, no NFL player would ever train like that, because if you injure yourself, you're done with your career, and the amount of extra strength you're getting from doing this isn't really worth it.
It's so marginal.
You can do it in a different way.
Yeah. There's like a bell curve where like a young up-and-coming athlete or like a very amateur would never do anything this hard because they could injure themselves. And then someone who's on the cusp of going pro or something might do something like this to get an edge. But then once you're a pro, you're like, I'm not losing a $6 million contract for a fucking injury in the weight room, right? So your risk goes off. And then this trainer has like a 35, 40-year-old woman doing this in the gym for no reason.
No ability to spot her either.
I know. And so the adult injury section, a big part of that we always want to talk about is you need to be constantly calculating the risk-reward ratio of all of the exercises and things you're doing. Like, just because you can do single leg squats pretty easily doesn't mean you have to go up to the next one. It flips where the reward doesn't outweigh the increased risk of absolutely snapping something because the black trainer who's posting videos of this got you on the bands.
He knows what he's doing. He's jacked.
Yeah.
That's what they think.
And he can do it in his own time instead of putting an amateur on it. So,
all right, let's get to the next clip. This is my favorite clip from Cringe. This Jewish guy gets a screw in his tire, and listen to what he assumes.
1 second. I want to show you guys.
What happened?
Look at my tire right here.
Oh, boy.
Huge width. You know, it's so sad that this could have been an accident, but the first thing that comes to my mind is if this was an anti-Semitic act, if somebody knew my beard, my yarmulke, and said, let me do that to this guy.
It looks like it was placed there perfectly.
But it's like the inside of the tire. But it's so sad that even that has to go through my mind today. Nation, no people, no one should ever have to have that percolating. Is somebody attacking me for who I am?
Yeah, that's how every white guy feels after leaving an interview at a Fortune 500 company and they don't get it.
Yeah, I'm straight white. And shaking hands with HR. Thank you so much. And it's a black woman with like a little notepad.
Did I not get this because I'm white?
Yeah. Because of who I am.
And then this attitude of like, this could be an anti-Semitic attack. Like we caught it on camera here where he goes, is this an
attack on me?
Because of who I am? And he looks like a Dave Portnoy type if you look closely.
Yeah, certain type of guy. And have you ever had a nail in your tire?
All the time.
I've had a brutal nail straight in, and I go, how did that happen?
Yeah.
Like, it feels almost too perfect. And I think this guy has a Tesla with cameras.
Tesla has Sentry mode.
So he knows that it wasn't a hate crime.
Yeah.
He just thinks about it and makes content about it anyway.
Tesla has Sentry mode, which records if someone's messing with the car. Also, the screw is so deep in the wheel well that you couldn't even get in there with a drill or a screwdriver. It wouldn't even work to put it in like that. And then also, he's kind of promoting stereotypes with how bald his tires are.
Yeah.
Oh, I can get a few more miles out of this. And, you know, the attitude. Oh, makes you wonder, is this an anti-Semitic attack? I better look out for myself. I'm being attacked all the time. I can give a predatory loan with compounding interest because people are trying to attack me. I just need to make money. I don't know where maybe they'll take my job away. You know?
Yeah.
So there is like an attitude there that isn't really natural for a lot of groups to just assume everyone's trying to attack you. Can you read some of the things I pulled?
Which one? This one?
Yeah.
This woman who's saying anti-Semitic, it's a trick. We always use it to stifle legitimate criticism of Jews and Zionist Israel.
That's interesting. That rings true to me.
Somebody else said, Jews are the most oppressed people on earth, and I know this because of all the books they've published, documentaries they've aired, laws they've developed, and contrary opinions they've censored.
It's very true.
Yeah.
And then you can
this guy, this guy, his content, right?
Yeah, I've seen it.
It's like mostly about him doing weird Jewish things that are kind of like tricking laws of Judaism. Like we can't turn on a light technically, but this light is always on, and I shimmy this thing forward.
We could trick God that way.
Yeah,
it still counts.
That's most of his content, or like how he can't eat a certain thing and how he cleans a countertop or something, and then now he's moving into the potential hate crime category.
Yeah, and then the way he is, the way he looks at it, it's like, well, if someone's trying to put a screw in your tire, they want a tire to blow out while you're driving with your family. They're trying to kill you. They're trying to kill children.
They're trying to do the Holocaust on you. Crazy.
Exactly. So
crazy
that was
scenario.
just a really interesting insight into the mind of that individual and how he sees the world when you get a screw. Do you know that in Florida, all the since there were so many hurricanes, there's so many construction sites of people fixing roofs and stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot of flat tires and screws in tires because of all the work sites near the water. Anti-Semitic.
I know. That's crazy.
Anti-Semitic attacks.
Boca Raton specifically, or like those areas.
And then next I found this article about white people. White people prefer white people on dating apps, but that could be changed, study says. And can you read the context?
Researchers from schools like Cornell University say the sexual racism that plagues dating apps can be stamped out with a few simple changes. The end goal, the study says, is to promote more diverse pairings on the dating sites.
And the article is written by Jared Bergowitzenberg.
No. Josh Magnus.
Josh. Still counts.
Okay.
And keep in mind, that whole idea of like white people dating white people is a problem. For thousands of years, white people have married and dated and had children with other white people, but now it's sexual racism.
Only now.
There's a lesson there. That's interesting. And also another lesson before we move on to Urban.
Okay.
All different races want to date white people.
For sure, yeah. Some
Like an
people
Indian
do.
guy wants to date a white person.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of black guys want to date white people. Asian guys want to date white people. So everyone wants to date white people and live in our countries.
Yeah, I agree with you
So
there.
there's a lesson there.
And then Asian women are also up there.
Yeah.
Asian women are second in command, I think.
I can agree with that.
Okay.
All right, well, that's the end of Cringe. We're now moving on to Urban Decay. All right, our first clips in Urban Decay involve people who aren't fully prepared for their court appearances. First, we have a woman who tries to lie to the judge.
Asia who?
Outer Bridge.
And why are you so late?
Because I have a paper right here that shows my court started at 1 o'clock, but then when I called, right here, if you can look.
I don't see 1 o'clock. It looks like I saw 9 a.m.
I had 1 o'clock on one of those papers.
You just showed me a paper, Miss Outerbridge. That
Yes, I
said
did. Right. So when I called,
no, we can't talk at the same time.
well, I apologize for being late. Excuse me.
Stop. Miss Outerbridge,
You asked me a question. I'm just trying to answer it.
I know. Put whatever you're trying to prepare down.
I'm trying to be my daughter.
Get your coat. You got to put your properly dressed on.
I am properly dressed. I have on a t-shirt. I am properly dressed.
Is that a robe?
It's the problem, sir. I'm not even doing that. You asked me a question. I'm answering. My daughter is sick. I had to keep her home from school. I'm just trying to feed her. That is it.
Understandable, but you're in court. Miss Outerbridge, I'm sorry that your daughter is sick. But again, you're in court, okay? And we're going to treat it.
So even black people get black fatigue.
Black judges, for sure. They probably have it most.
And
right? They're probably at the tip of the spear.
Yeah, they're
on black fatigue.
That's a good point. And she was 4 or 5 hours late to her thing. She said it started at 1 o'clock, she thought. And then at 1 o'clock, she's wearing a robe.
Making a sandwich, wearing a robe, FaceTime pointed up at the sky. You're looking down her nostrils while she's addressing the judge, constantly interrupting him.
Saying acts, interrupting the judge, and making a peanut butter sandwich.
for her. Her kid's sick. Her baby's sick.
And there's like a theme in this clip and the next one. It's just like people are existing and then they're going to court.
Yeah.
They're just like existing in their day. And then it's like, oh shit, it's 1:02. I had that 1 o'clock thing. And they just FaceTime in. And I was talking to Rapboy about this before the show. If I had court, I would be in a suit. I would be checking the background. I would be there early and like logging in 15 minutes early just to make sure there's no chance I'm late. I would put the dog in the crate in the other room in case he barks so there's no background noise. Like, I really would.
I'd be doing this into the camera, like right before, thinking about the background. How's the volume? Is any loud noises going to come? Nobody's coming to the door, right?
I'd have all my points in front of me of like, you know, why I was wrongfully arrested or whatever because I don't actually do crimes.
And it's the thinking man's curse. So Fleckus thinks, and therefore he cares. So he thinks about what the judge will think, how it's going to happen. Remember to say your honor. You know, like all the stupid little checklist. And then this woman is just like, oh yeah, court's here. So instead of thinking, it's someone who's just existing. And that's probably the reason she got to court in the first place. She wasn't thinking, she was just existing. And this next guy is another example of that because it's such an obvious mistake.
What made you think that was a good shirt to wear to court this morning? That's all you could find? That's all, the only shirt you had in your closet? World's best farter. That's great. No, it says, I can read it. I see what it says at the bottom. You're in felony court. You need to dress appropriately to felony court, and that's not appropriate.
World's best farter. And it's like, wouldn't you get to court and go, oh man, I'm wearing the fart shirt. All right, I'll just turn it out. I'll just turn it inside out. Or I'll borrow a shirt, or I'll buy a shirt from across the street, wear it, and return it. I'll just turn the shirt inside out. Like, there's so many things that you could think your way out of, and he's just standing in front of a judge in federal felony court, and like, ah, shit, I'm in the fart shirt.
I'm in the fart shirt. I didn't think about it, and that's the whole point. Is the thought never crosses your mind. You're just in a shirt, so you're not thinking. You're just existing, and then it gets you into deeper trouble. So. You know, thinking, sometimes it results in anxiety or depression or something like that. Oh, I think too much. I'm too in my head. But it's a blessing. It's more than a curse. Being a thinking man, this guy's just existing. The woman before is just existing. And that's why she got a misdemeanor and he got a felony. And they're in with unfriendly judges. And then also just the human element of it. Wouldn't you want to, like, it's not about like, I ain't following the court's rules. It's not about following the court's rules. It's about getting the judge in the best possible mood right before they decide what happens to you. Mm-hmm. You don't want to give that judge that little bad taste on their tongue. World's best farter. Yeah, we're going to go with the maximum. You know what I mean? It's like you have to game them as opposed to just whatever happens, happens. I'm making sir, my daughter's sick. She at home sick from school. Put her in the other room for fucking 10 minutes. How long does this take, right? So, this is more of an uplifting goal, Urban Decay. I'm glad I'm not retarded.
Me too.
I would never even be in court. So
me neither. All right, let's move on to our next clip. Our next clip, I don't have much to say about it, but it's just a bad neighbor.
He's knifing the Ring camera, and then he goes down the hall, and he tries to stab and knife the other neighbor's Ring camera, too.
Fucking neighbors.
Fucking neighbors. It starts with an N and ends in R, and it's a neighbor.
Yeah, I don't want anything to do with these neighbors.
Look at this picture, though. Isn't this, like, this is from June 7th, 2025. Don't they just get bad PR as a group? Like, this picture with the fucking knife.
That's bad.
They do it to themselves. Every week they get something bad, and it's not all of your fault. We have black show watchers.
Yeah,
they hate
great.
these neighbors too.
Yeah, exactly. Name. It's a mistake to pretend that there's no neighbors within the black community.
Yeah.
You're either a neighbor or you're not. And good black people don't like neighbors.
Yeah.
All right.
They say neighbor too.
Yeah.
They say neighbor.
We didn't say it with the hard R.
I did.
Neighbor.
All right.
What's up, neighbor? All right, our next section is our pepper spray season section. We're going to go fast through these, but we just have some examples of pepper spray that we've been talking about for the last month or so that it's pepper spray season. We're going to go fast through them, and we may have shown some of these in bonus land.
First clip we may have shown on the main show, but this is just such a good one that we wanted to bring it up.
You're gonna knock me out. What are you talking about? What the are you talking about? What? What are you talking about? Who are you gonna knock out, bro? Oh, what? Shut the up, bitch. Yo, wash yourself off.
Got him.
The shit talk after the pepper spray, that's your right as an
That
American.
feels good. That's about as good of a feeling as you can get. All right, next, this guy is bothering this woman at lunch. Has a knife, stabs the bag. I think he thought there was like a dog in the bag or something.
Hey, see my picture right here. Hey, see my picture right here. It's just, somebody's just pepper sprayed.
And it works.
So she pepper sprayed him right in the eyes after he stabbed her purse. Perfect use of pepper spray. And it's honestly the exact situation you want to see pepper spray used. You're enjoying yourself. A belligerent approaches you, no matter the race.
You're a girl.
You're weaker than him, and you want to de-escalate the situation. I'm always surprised at how quickly people just turn and go the opposite way. It's like pepper spray is the ultimate, this interaction is over. It's really so effective, so I love to see it.
Very nice. Let's get to our next clip. We've shown this one, I think, in bonus land. We'll let it go.
For what? You have no probable cause.
So they're detaining someone. A crowd gathers.
Get the fuck off! It's going on camera. Wait.
The guy in the orange jumpsuit is who gets pepper sprayed. Keep an eye on him. He approaches.
So he gets pushed down.
Nobody did nothing. You pushed him again? What's his name?
Pushed again, and then he keeps stepping up, and he gets hit with the spray.
He just sprayed him.
And the spray keeps him away. Sorry, OG.
And OG is in his orange Adidas jumpsuit. He's got the white tee, the fresh white sneakers, white hat. Very coordinated outfit. And now he can't see, and there's pepper spray all over the hat.
But at least the orange matches.
Yeah, the orange matches the pepper spray. So great, effective uses there. Love to see it. Make sure you guys are buying and carrying your pepper spray.
Yep.
And are we going to show the pepper spray gone wrong?
This one we've already shown, I believe. But we can show it again. This woman tries to pepper spray, and she ends up pepper spraying herself.
So this is offensive pepper spray. But she runs right into her cloud.
Probably could have guessed that was going to happen.
Mm-hmm. But that's another not thinking, just living. I'll shoot the pepper spray, not thinking.
And she wasn't doing it defensively. I want to de-escalate. She was trying to get somebody, and she didn't do it right. And this next clip is an example of trying to get somebody as well.
I'm going to ask you to take a step back, please.
Gets tackled for it.
I love that. So, yeah, no offensive pepper spray, guys. It's a de-escalator.
De-escalators only. Yep.
But you can talk shit after you de-escalate, like that first clip we showed.
That's your time. All right, well, don't get too down or too depressed. We're now moving on to uplifting gold, and we do have some uplifting stuff today.
All right.
We have a lot of stuff. First, we have some honest kids. The first two clips are honest kids. This guy is showing a picture to this Asian girl at the Chinese restaurant and asking if there's rats there.
No, I'm not getting
So he goes, is there rats here? And she goes...
I feel like we've shown that too. We're kind of getting to a retarded point where we can't even remember.
There's so many clips and so many episodes, guys, that if we showed it once before, who cares?
Yeah.
We're just showing that went viral this week, I guess.
All right, next honest kid.
Okay, peel back the curtain a little bit. We interviewed 9-year-old Sophia here before the game, and I asked her what her favorite part of Florida Panthers games are. Sophia, what is your favorite part of Panthers game?
The
fighting.
The fighting. Okay, so now I have to ask you, now that it has become the big story from this game, what did you think about the fighting, especially in that third period?
It was really good, and I really liked how they punched each other a lot.
Now, did you feel like the Panthers won the fight in addition to the game?
Yeah, probably, yeah.
So do you want to be our local 10 fighting hockey expert?
Yes.
That's nice. Kids like the fighting.
She liked how they punched each other a lot. So did I.
So did I.
So did I. Sophie or whatever.
That was the whole point of going to games when you were a kid.
Yeah.
That was the best part. All right, next we have a prank video. Can you read what the prank prompt is?
It says, "I'm deaf. If you're seeing this, my dad's trying to call me." And he shows it to a random guy in a library.
Hello? Yeah, is my son there?
Yes.
If he's playing that rain vent, then you tell him not to come home. Write that down to him. He's not to come home.
Don't play.
His mother on the he's stuck on the toilet and he needs toilet paper.
Hey, buddy, we're in a library. I can't be writing down stuff like this.
There should be $1 in his left pocket.
Wait.
All I gotta do is get him a bus ticket back to New Jersey. I'm not to forget the Scotch One Ply, because if you forget the Scotch One Ply, I'm stuck on the toilet.
We're in a library.
Uncle Jimmy's coming to pick him up. Tell him Uncle Jimmy's coming.
I did. He didn't react good to that. You know what? I don't know. I'm just a guy here in the library. I'm there now. He's writing something down.
I can crack his laptop, get my cousin to come get him.
You can stay right here, okay?
And Frankie's on his way. Give him 10 minutes.
No. The 10 versus the 3 you hit.
Is he gambling again?
Is he gambling again? And he goes, "Sir, I'm just a guy at the library."
Oh.
That's pretty good.
There's a certain level of like, you're sprung into a situation, and this guy wasn't a thinker either. Because you could be texting your dad. You don't need a third party. If you're truly deaf, you don't need a third party guy on speakerphone at the library, but he doesn't take the second to think.
If anything like that ever happened to me, I just go, "All right, you're pranking me." Like, all right.
I'd go along with it. I think it would be funny. I'd start yelling. I'd get kicked out. Yeah,
that would be
I'd
fun.
match the energy.
All right, next we got Amish people playing pickleball, which I thought was pretty cool. You ever saw that?
No.
That's fun.
It works though. I don't see
like
anything
it.
mechanical with that. Amish people can play sports still.
Enjoy pickleball, Amish people.
I'd like to see an Amish football player. You know Rudy? Rudy, he goes to Notre Dame. He's little, but he gets on the field. I'd be more impressed and happy with an Amish person playing.
And there would be like a thing where like he's never worked out in a gym before, but he works on the farm and he's the strongest guy on the team.
Concrete blocks.
He
and
squats 500 and he never squatted before.
Yeah.
All right, next, give that a read. That's you.
Somebody said field trips are wasted on kids. Imagine getting a whole day off work and getting to learn how an old watermill from the 1800s works. That's the dream.
Yeah, I guess.
You can do that.
Yeah. You're an adult. You don't have to get brought on a bus. You can drive.
I think there's some weird millennial type humor where people, they yearn for like a group of people to go and, oh, I want to learn about this. And it's like, you can go take a date and go to an old mill. You can go to a fish spawning place where they do the spawning, and some white guy who works there for 20 years will be glad to explain to you exactly how it works.
Yeah.
I have a story actually. I used to go to this place called Fair Oaks Farm. If you guys are in Indiana or Illinois, you probably know it. It's like on the highway. It's on I-65. And it's like a little kid field trip place. But you go in there, you get ice cream, you get dairy, and then like there's like little kid stuff. But then there's also they have stadium seating for cow birth. So there's a cow who gives birth. Like there's always one like in the process. And if you're lucky, you can't stay there for hours. But if you're lucky, you get to time it and you're eating ice cream and you see the cow give birth. You go, oh, or it's a new fresh cow.
That's our milk now.
Field trip shit, you can do it at any given time. You don't need a bus driver and a lunch packed. So
that's pretty fun stuff. Next, we have Small Town America highlight reel. This girl's just doing a video about Small Town America, similar to the Rhode Island video last episode.
Porch swings, old signs, little parade, police on horseback.
This is America.
Old truck.
Old truck, got a tractor, got a farmer, American stuff. Everyone's attractive. All right, that's nice.
Yeah, That is.
Small town America. Everyone's got the American flag out. Everyone's patriotic.
Yeah. Where is that? Michigan, Wisconsin?
Still exists. We got pockets of it.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Let's get to our last clip, which is the most uplifting clip of them all. I'm not going to intro it. Just let it rip.
You believe in Jesus Christ?
I do.
Amen.
I do.
Do you guys believe in Jesus Christ?
No way.
We were just talking about
No.
He's the way to do it.
Do you two believe in Jesus Christ?
Who?
The Lord Jesus Christ?
The King of Kings?
Yeah.
Yes.
If you could tell the world one thing about Jesus, what would you tell them?
It requires finding your identity in Him. Like all of life is that.
Do you three believe in Jesus Christ?
We sure do. We do. He's the Savior of the universe.
Yeah, I do.
I do. He's my Lord and Savior. I don't know what I'd do without him.
Amen. Jesus Cristo te ama?
Yes.
Sí.
I know. Thank you. We do.
Yes, we do. He's our Lord and Savior. He's here to save us all.
Yes, we do. Do you believe in Jesus Christ?
Absolutely. He's the living Son of God, and He's alive today.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. I do. He died for my sins.
Do you believe in Jesus?
I absolutely do.
Amen.
I'm 80. I'll be 85 in September, and I know that I will be going to see him.
Isn't that nice?
That is nice.
There's nice pockets of that in America, too.
It's not lost. We do need to get 30 million, 45 million immigrants out, but it's not lost at all.
Yep, very nice. It's a good way to end the show. We do have some shout-outs. It is Father's Day as well, so happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there, including my dad and your
Father's
dad.
Day, yep.
Very nice. And we have some shout-outs. Happy birthday to Ryan on Saturday the 14th. And happy first Father's Day to him as well, because he has a daughter, Ruby, now.
Happy birthday, Ryan.
And happy Father's Day, Ryan.
There you go.
Happy Father's Day to Jeff. Sorry you lost your grandpa. You're a great dad to Annalise, though, and that is going to be noticed by you this Father's Day.
Okay.
You're going to realize. You're going to be sad because your grandpa has passed, but you're going to be happy that you're the dad now, and then it just slides down one. So grandpa moves on, the kid becomes the adult, and there's a kid below you now.
That's true.
So it all slides.
It's time to ascend.
Yep. So that's great. Happy Father's Day to Burley from Gwyn and Orrin. They messaged me a long time ago to make sure I got that message, and I did. They love
Can you read those names again? Happy Father's Day to Burley
from Gwyn and Orrin.
And Orrin. Those are some names. Are you sure you're not getting pranked by that?
Am I saying something inappropriate?
No. It's not one of those, but that's an interesting combination of names. Happy Father's Day.
And happy Father's Day. You're a great dad. They were messaging me about just random things, and they were saying that you're really a great dad. Happy birthday to Kara on June 15th. Happy birthday to RRB on June 15th as well. Happy birthday, Richard.
Thank you.
That's the end of the episode. And like we said earlier, guys, there's not going to be a show on Tuesday, but there will be a bonus land. We're doing a double bonus land. So there's not a bonus land today, but there will be an hour-long bonus land on Tuesday. So if you're looking for the show on Tuesday and you want to scratch the itch and get hours and hours, probably days at this point, of back content, FleckisTalks.com is the website. Join the community and get your hour-long show on Tuesday when there's no show on YouTube. Thank you guys for watching. Have a nice weekend. Happy Father's Day. We'll see you in Bonus Land on Tuesday.